hi, welcome back to my channel, to the Witchy Reader. So I'm going to do the writers are weird tag. So it's just 10 questions, really easy. And it's just the questions are just kind of little things to get to know me better as a writer, little weird things I do as a writer. So let's just get into it, shall we? Number 1 is, do you have bizarre internet searches? If so, what's the weirdest one? So I have a couple, I think. I can think of 2 off the top of my head that are a bit weird searches. Kind of makes me sound like a serial killer. But one of them is weirder than the other, and one of them is what does blood smell like? And the weirder one is, what does burning flesh smell like? Do not judge. I'm a fantasy writer. I write a lot of action battle scenes, and I needed that for the final battle in no. I think it was the battle in the first book of my Jasmine Press trilogy. I think that was the one where I needed it. It was. I think the blood one I needed in my final battle, considering there was like a lot of blood. But yeah, so that might be weird to a lot of people for why I would search that, but us writers understand weird internet searches, right? I'm not alone. Number 2 is, do you write people you know and dislike into your story as villains or dumb people to kill off? I do not. All the people I come up with are my imagination people who do not exist. I know some people say they, pick a person that they like and write them as the hero, or pick a person they dislike and write them as the villain or someone to kill off. But not me. I don't do that. I mean, there are a couple people I really dislike. There's only a couple though. There's not enough to really, make a massacre in a story. But I don't know. To me, it takes the fun out of the imagination and to put reality into your story, especially negative reality. I don't like these people, so why would I want them in my story that I love, that I'm writing? It means that they mean something to me for me to put them in my story, whether I'm making them the villain or just a dumb person to kill off, and I don't want to do that. But I respect you if that's what you like to do. 3. Does personal hygiene sometimes come second to writing? No. I mean, sometimes I will push back taking a shower so I can continue when my flow is really there, but I do end up taking a shower. I just push it back a little so I can finish the flow I have going before I take a shower, come back, and then my flow is gone. So yeah. Number 4, that's what I'm on, right? Do you go on baby name websites to help you name your characters? Yes. Do not judge. But yes, I do that. I do that. I mean, sometimes the characters just come to me, and I don't even know how I come up with it. They just come to me. But sometimes I can't think of a name to save my life, so I look up like female names or male names, and then I will see a baby website thing and click it to see what kind of names they have to offer, and I'll use that for my characters. I mean, my characters are my babies, so it's not that weird, right? Right? Let's be real, we're all weird. Number 5. Do you have a list of actors and actresses that would play your characters if there was an adaptation made? I hear people do this, and I don't that much. I mean, every so often I might be watching something and see an actor or actress I like and realize that they look like a character for my book, and I'll be like, hey, they could play my character, but I don't just sit out looking for actresses that could play my characters if an adaptation is made. Once in a while, I'll do that with my MCs, just for fun, but I don't do it very often. I definitely don't do it with every character. So, meh, sometimes not. It just depends, I guess. Number 6. Yes. Have you ever stared at a stranger because they look like one of your characters? No, but that's because I haven't really met a stranger that really looked like one of my characters. So, and if I did, I would try not to stare, cause that would be rude. But, yeah. So that's it. 7. Do you talk to yourself to help work through scenes? If so, where do you talk to yourself? Yes, I talk to myself. I always talk to myself in my head sometimes to figure things out. But every so often, if I'm really trying to figure something out, I find myself talking out loud to myself. I don't always mean to, it just happens. I guess I'm not the only one that does that, thankfully. Number 8. While writing, do you make the expressions your characters are making? That's probably the weirdest thing I do, but yes. Whenever I'm writing, I tend to make the expressions my characters are making. And this is also a lot of times when I actually start talking because I get really into it and I'm really focused. And sometimes I even tone everything out. The music I'm listening to, TV I'm listening to, whatever, I'll tune everything out. And it's like I'm actually one of my it's actually like I'm every one of my characters all talking to each other. And I make the emotions on my face and I start talking out loud because I get really into it. And then there's been times where one of my characters was crying and then I find myself about to cry. I'm like, this is just my story. This isn't actually happening, so what's wrong with me? I really hope I'm not the only one that does that. Number 9. Do you ever practice answering interview questions in case you make it big? Kinda, I guess. That's also something weird I do. I have imagined being on like an interview or a talk show just talking about my books. I haven't really have a set of questions I practice answering, but I do just picture myself on a TV or like I don't know, interview or whatever and just talking about my book randomly. I don't know. I really hope I'm not the only one that does that because that is a bit odd. This is why we're all weird. Number 10. Do you have a soundtrack and or playlist for your book or scenes from your book? When it comes to my music, I just listen to whatever I'm in the mood to listen to at the time. I don't have a specific playlist for a scene in my book or for my book as a whole. I have considered trying to look through my songs and making playlists for maybe my book, but I don't know yet. And especially since now I used to only work on one story at a time, but now I have like several stories started, and I'm just depending on what mood I'm in to write. And so I just listen to whatever music I'm in the mood to, because even if I did make that playlist, I may not be in the mood to listen to those songs. So I might either skip these songs until I find one I'm into, or just skip the playlist altogether, because I will listen to what I'm in the mood to listen to at the moment. I don't force myself to listen to a playlist to get me inspired, because the music itself will get me inspired, because I'm in the mood to listen to that music, and I'm in the mood to write the story and the scene, and none of that probably makes sense to any of you, but well, we're all writers, so maybe it does. That was the last question, right? Yeah, there's only 10 questions. Really simple, but this was fun. It it proves that we're all weird apparently. And I guess that is true. We're all weird. But hey, that's not a bad thing, cause the weirder the better, right? Like Melanie Martinez's song, Mad Hatter. Because why not? But yeah, So that's all for this video, and I'm gonna tag Robin from the book Wormhole and Jessica from Lady Loves That Reads, and I cannot wait to see your videos if you do this. And that's all for this video. So please like and subscribe and comment your answers or do this video. I tag everyone, and I'd love to see your answers and see if you're as weird as I am. And I'll talk to you guys later.